Que te nuestra drama. Muchas noches en tu cama, yo la adoro a su cara. Muchas noches en tu cama, quiero verla en la mañana. Lo que pasa es que la adoro, tu boquita es mi tesoro. I see you nightly when my rum touch nicely. I can't choose so wisely, I can't help but sightsee. So I breathe those movements when you call my phone. When I sleep I'm clueless to what all you doing, but my trust no lose for no loose girl who fool. My life too ruthless so you can't control. My circle getting smaller and smaller. Yeah. I can't find no one else I can call up. My drinks line up with all of my trauma. Stay away from the road, can't take no extra drama.
Overtime. Area code 345 LSN overtime.
What's that? That's Candy. What's my name? I'm the Candy Man. Starting is my hobby, starting like my daddy. When I was younger, I just wanna be the Candy Man. Ain't no room for sloppy, I got that from my mommy. Now that I'm older, they be calling me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. Ooh, what's that? That's Candy. What's my name? I'm the Candy Man. She said that she wants some sweet. Then let me tell you I can get you what you need, girl. And if you want, you can see me before you leave. I know before you want the road, you want a treat, girl. I'm gonna city, they know. Stunting got my eyes, some flows, no jokes. Smell the money, you thought it was my cologne. When I throw it in the air, watch it fall slow. Came up on nothing and I made a way. Always been me and I could never change. Been had the drive, but I stayed in my lane. Been had the gas taken off on the game. I got it all for you. You know it's nothing. Nothing is my hobby, starting like my daddy. When I was younger, I just wanna be the Candy Man. Ain't no room for sloppy, I got that from my mommy. Now that I'm older, they be calling me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. Ooh, what's that? That's Candy. What's my name? I'm the Candy Man. And I just can't stop grinding. I swear I told y'all it's my time then. Down bad, I needed a sign then. Now I pull up with the jewels, say shining. Now I pull up with the goods, spreading loving me. I got everything you need, all you want from me. With the honey, you would think I was a bumblebee. Tell your friends, come and see me, they want something sweet. I know I don't, baby, wine slow. Roll up like snow. She don't wanna rap on the Tootsie Roll. And now they know my name. I am the Candy Man. Starting is my hobby, starting like my daddy. When I was younger, I just wanna be the Candy Man. Ain't no room for sloppy, I got that from my mommy. Now that I'm older, they be calling me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man, call me the Candy Man. Ooh, what's that? That's Candy. What's my name? I'm the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man. I'm the Candy Man.
45 years.
3 beloved isles.
1 beloved station, Radio Cayman,
The voice.
The heart.
the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Plans for Cayman's National Carnival, Cayman Carnival Batibanu, are in high gear, with the annual parade slated for Saturday, May 7th, culminating with a huge stage for masqueraders to cross on Festival Green at Cayman Bay. 11 bands have registered so far. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Shanghai's COVID lockdown has left thousands scrambling to stock up on supplies, while others quarantine in their offices to keep business running. After weeks of isolated compound lockdowns, the city of 25 million has been split into two. Earlier this week, those living in Shanghai's eastern half were told to stay home, with the western half due to enter a lockdown on Friday. The move comes as the city battles a surge in Omicron COVID cases. And Dyson has taken its first step into wearable technology with an eye-catching pair of over-ear headphones that come with an air-purifying mouth visor. Best known for vacuum cleaners, Dyson has diversified in recent years with products such as fans and a hairdryer. The headphones, dubbed Dyson Zone, are designed to tackle the growing issue of air pollution. One reviewer said they would definitely turn heads in the street. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
YOUTHFLEX. The program for all people, by young people.
YOUTHFLEX.
Hey, it's Tasha from Brock. Remind you to tune in to YOUTHFLEX on Wednesdays from 4 to 5.
Coming up on The Flex, hear how our overseas recipients have made their mark in Cayman.
YOUTHFLEX.
You can also join us on YouTube Live for YOUTHFLEX, the program for all people, by young people. YOUTHFLEX. More in talk.
Shout out to all my Brockers.
YOUTHFLEX.
More in talk. More in talk.
Well, I think everyone should care.
When you are hiring, what are you looking for?
Well, most people hire based on attitude.
And they train for aptitude.
It's season 50.
Because most people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And you can't teach caring.
Sir, can we come up with another name for the season?
Stick to the plan. Stand proud. Voices that care are crying out loud.
Welcome to YOUTHFLEX Season of Caring with our host, Deidre Edwards.
We up, yeah. Free up, yeah. Violence, yeah. Got family structure. Good them car, bush get deduct, yeah. Hey.
Deidre Edwards.
And we are back. Hello, welcome to our YOUTHFLEX show. We are in our season of caring. I'm your host, Deidre, along with my co-host, Jessie. For today's show, we'll be having on Proud of Them honorees.
Our word of the week is preposterous, spelt Preposterous. It is an adjective meaning contrary to reason or common sense.
Our quote of the day is, "Be happy for this moment. This moment is your life," by Umar Khayyam.
You can join in on our conversation by calling 1-800-534-8255, toll-free courtesy of Flow, or you can join us on YouTube Live. Before we get into the show, we'll be taking a quick music break.
Our first song will be "Strength of a Woman" by Shaggy.
And we are back. Now we have Proud of Them honorees in the studio, or a Proud of Them honoree. Can you please introduce yourself? Both of you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dava Bonilla. I'm from originally born in town, Grand Cayman Islands. I still live there. Thank the Lord. And with me as well is one of my fellow cadets, Mr. Okizi. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Okizi Elawanya. I went to John Gray before, but now I'm at UCCI. I live here in Grand Cayman, thank goodness, and I'm ready to enjoy my time here.
Can I just say both of your names are exquisitely crafted?
Thank you very much.
Why, thank you.
So what category were you guys nominated for?
So I was nominated for community service.
Mm-hmm.
I was nominated for community service and academics.
Do you know who nominated you?
My mother, Elizabeth Bonilla.
For me, it's one of my superiors at the Cadet Corps, Miss White.
Cool. So how do you guys feel when you saw your billboard?
I felt a sense of great national pride. And I was like, all right, so the government has now recognized that people in the background, people who put in extraordinary work, people who get things done, especially for youth programs like the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps, that we actually could be honored in such a way that, okay, what you have done for this program is so stupendous, so out there, that without you, nothing would basically go on. No camps, no extracurricular activities, some of the buses as well, because I'm also the bus driver for the Cadet Corps, well, one of them. And without you, we can't run some programs. Like even today, after this, now I have to go to Marine Cadet training and then do the home drop-off in the bus. I won't get home till around 9:30, 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For me, when I first saw my billboard, it felt like the hard work that you put in when it comes to these things, it's worth it now. Because before, it's a struggle. It very much is. It's hard work that you have to put in. But once you finally realize that it's worth something, people now know who you are. It's a wonderful feeling. It's really fun to describe, because I definitely did not work hard as Mr. Bonilla here. But I definitely had to put my best foot forward with my duties in the Corps, because they definitely were not easy. So it is good to finally see a result of that finally come into place.
Mm-hmm. And it's also a bit of a full circle moment for you guys. And like you said, how you didn't do as much as Mr. Bonilla, but yet, though you did two different things, you guys have both been acknowledged for your accomplishments, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So where are your billboards located?
Mine is located right next to the annex field in town, so it's really close by Georgetown Primary.
And my billboard is located in Frank Sound, so the turn if you're coming from town to turn left to go north side or go to Clifton Hunter, my billboard is right at the junction.
Okay. And what achievements have helped you to get this award?
So some past achievements, well, most recently I've just been awarded as well the Disaster Mitigation Medal from the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps for my work during the COVID-19 crisis with the NEOC, the National Emergency Operations Center, working with managing the quarantine facilities when they were rerun by government at the Wyndham, Comfort Suites, Margaritaville, and Holiday Inn. And then just recently on Saturday, I got the award for Emerging Pioneer through the government with the Heroes Day program.
Wow.
And then before that, I've been acknowledged for just all my hours with the Corps. So recently in 2020 and 2021, in total I put almost 2,000 hours of volunteer work.
Wow. I can't find another word to say, but wow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I could top that. Well, for me, I think my achievements, I'll start off with the Corps. With the Cadet Corps, I've been in there for almost 6 years. So I've been promoted 4 times over that 6 years. I'm now, it's a multitude of duties, but one of them, and my favorite one by far, is helping to guide the new members through the recruitment process. And over the course of a few months, they become cadets and they make their way from there. I usually help with that process. involving school, I have passed like 12 CXC subjects, I believe. 10 ones and 2 twos. So including math and physics, that type of thing. I also do a lot of extracurricular activities. So I did chess, I did debate, I did an oratorical club, so I went to do public speaking. I was in the math club, so I went to math competitions. There was a point in time where I actually met famous people, chess grandmaster, rather. Someone who won chess on 6 out of 7 continents.
Wow.
That type of thing. And then going back to cadets, I went overseas to represent the country. So I went to Jamaica and Barbados, both in 2018.
So could you both talk like from different perspectives what the Cadet Corps is about? And what you guys do?
Yes, so I've been part of the Cayman's Cadet Corps since 2010, actually. That's when I joined as a lonely little recruit at Triple C High School. I was around 12 years old when I signed up. Became a cadet on my birthday. That was the day of the parade. And that was when the Honorable McKeever Bush decided to give his speech on that day. That took around an hour and a half to run through that speech alone. The parade was almost 3 hours long. And then from then, I've risen to the rank of Chief Petty Officer, the equivalent to Staff Sergeant, so what Mr. Okeezy's current rank is now. And that was from 2011 to 2015. So I was able to go to Jamaica, represent the Cayman's Cadet Corps overseas there. I've gone to England as well as part of the Army Cadet Exchange Program as well. And I was also, and in between that time too, I also went to Riverside Military Academy in Gainesville, Georgia to finish off high school. That was grades 11 and 12. I commissioned as an officer in the Corps of Cadets up there. Came back home for that summer, did summer camp here, went to Florida Tech for my bachelor's degree. When I graduated with 3 degrees, 2 associates and a bachelor's.
In what?
My first associates was in air traffic control. The second associates was aircraft operations and dispatch, and my bachelor's in aviation management with flight. So I'm an aviation nerd at heart. Graduated in 2019, came back home, and then rejoined the Corps of Cadets. I commissioned as an officer in 2021 in March. So I've started from the very beginning as a lonely recruit. I'm now an officer with the Cayman's Cadet Corps Marine Detachment. I'm currently a sub-lieutenant. Essentially what the Cadet Corps does, we're a youth program designed for the high school students to instill a sense, not really of discipline, but a sense of patriotism and values of citizenship within the Cayman Islands. Where have you come from? Where are we now? And where do you plan to go? We're a very young corps. We're one of the youngest in the Caribbean. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year, actually, from May into June. We have some programs that are being set up to celebrate that. And realistically, what we're just trying to do is just build a better future for young people and to give them skills so when they join the workforce, prominently in the public sector, in the government sector, that they can achieve high things like what we just programmed to do. Some of our most notable people are Major Henry, Mr. Dave Thompson, Mrs. O'Garo. They were pioneers that set up this program, and even emerging pioneers such as myself, Miss Tibbetts, Miss Ebanks, they know who they are. We're set up for the future to teach people like Mr. Okeezy and so forth that are just beginning their cadet careers that, yes, it will be hard. Life is hard. Life can get very hard sometimes, but it's very rewarding at the end. Without some hard, difficult things in life, what can you say have you achieved?
Well, for me, where I joined the Cadet Corps when I was about to turn 11, so I was 10 at the time, and this was 2016. I joined when I was still in primary school, and I was tiny to the point where when I joined the Cadet Corps and we did our first parade after the recruitment parade, I couldn't find a uniform that could fit me. I had to adjust mine.
Oh, wow.
But after that, and after I grew in knowledge and in stature, I eventually got my first promotion then my second, and I started helping out with the training of other recruits, an assistant at first, but then I started to play a more vital role. And after a while, it became routine. It became a part of me, to the point where if a Saturday or a Thursday went by and I wasn't at cadets, I would feel as if I'm missing something, either fun, missing something interesting, or missing something in general. When I go to camp, it's a mixed experience when it comes to emotion, but at the end of it, you will always come home thinking, I'd love to do something like this again, regardless of what you did. And even now, 6 years on, almost, I still feel just the way I did when I went to my first camp all of those years ago. And what that means to me is that the Cadet Corps isn't just a corps that's designed to discipline children. It's designed to provide a hand, a guide, to help them through times where you need somebody to help you, give advice, to provide you with a moral range. Once you go through there and you have the Cadet Corps helping you, you'll find yourself doing things that you never thought you could do before. There are points in time where you will find where your limits are and you will destroy them. So it makes you feel like you are a conqueror. So the Cadet Corps is very, very important.
Yeah, you can definitely hear how both of you are passionate,
very
and
passionate
for
about
different
it.
reasons. I think that's really amazing. And so I know both of you kind of touched the topic that you went away to represent the Corps. Do you guys want to talk about that experience?
Originally, I went away. Well, my first overseas trip was Army Cadet Exchange Program. That was in 2013, and I went to Portsmouth, England. So that is one of the naval bases for the Royal Navy. We got to stay on a Royal Navy base, and inside of HMS Bristol, she's a decommissioned, not really decommissioned, she's still commissioned on the Royal Navy, but she's permanently moored in Portsmouth. HMS Bristol is just an active ship that's permanently moored to the pier, so it actually moves up and down with the tide, and is used for training. So you can actually sleep, eat, live on a ship. It's not going to go anywhere. And then and it's more next to Navy Island down in Portsmouth, so it's basically a Navy base. It is a Navy base. So we got to stay there for 2 weeks. I originally went to do a drill instructor's course, so I'm a certified drill instructor with the Royal Marine Cadets up there, and that was the second week. And then the first week we were just there for a Sea Cadet Corps annual camp. So their annual camps up there run for a week. Ours down here run for 2 weeks. And that's Caribbean wide. It's usually 2 weeks. So while I was up there, I got to represent Cayman just in the drill course, because I was one of the first Marine cadets they had since 2008 was their last batch. My batch was in 2012, somewhere around there. So about 4 or 5 years of having no Marine cadets at all. Oh. So originally I went there just to see if I can get up to speed with everything that we need to learn, because we're now 4 years behind. Mm-hmm. And then my second trip, we got to go to Jamaica. So we went to, I forget the name of the place in Jamaica. It's right next to Titchfield, and I forget the name. Oh my gosh. No, I can't remember. But essentially, we went 2 weeks over there. We got to, it was me and a whole group of other cadets as well. I think in total it was almost 20 of us. They got to go over there, and 2 officers as well. And we went for the James A. Patterson shooter competition that was held in Spanish Town Range. We came in third. Against the whole Caribbean, we came in third.
Oh, that's good.
We were running good in first place. Then we jumped to second place, and then somehow we ended in third. I was like, what was going on? But at least we got third.
Yeah, because out of the whole Caribbean.
Out of the whole Caribbean, we got third. Mm-hmm. And we also went for
Who came first and second?
First and second. First was Jamaica, obviously. Second, I think, was St. Lucia.
Oh.
Okay. And then we came third. We beat Trinidad. I'll take that. We'll beat Trinidad. I'll take that. So we went for that, and then we went to also just participate in the Caribbean Cadet Camp that is held by the Caribbean Cadet Council every 2 years. So originally when he went to Barbados, Mr. O'Keefe went to Barbados, he went for that reason as well.
Okay.
And then the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps hosted one of those camps as well back in 2012. So I was part of that camp as well. Still did the same shooting competition. Even then, we came third. So the record of third is just continuous. We need to break that. Our future cadets that are listening to this, we need to break that. We also went down for a drill competition as well, and we also went to do a few what we call them bush exercises. But it was when we go in the field for a couple of days and try to actually survive in the field and try to complete your mission objectives. So usually capture the flag, go capture an enemy position. There's some really fun activities, and you're actually in the bush. Ooh. So it's not like just like, all right, it's just a playground, here's some little bit of grass. No, you're in the actual bush. Have fun. That's usually what they tell us. Is like, all right, have fun. Don't get taken by nothing.
So you mentioned numerous camps. What were those like?
So usually those camps are recruit camps, annual camps. Our recruit camps are usually every year around February to March-ish range.
Somewhere there, yeah.
Our annual camps are usually around July-August range, just before the kids go back to school. Sometimes they're in June. And then we have some other mini camps if you just get ready for like national parades, like Heroes Day parades or the Queen's birthday parade. Those are just some of the few camps that we have. Sometimes we have bush exercise camps. So we go in the field for a few days, have actual camp out there. Or just general camps like that. They usually run for minimum, usually like one night, to a maximum of longest camp I've been on was 17 days.
Wow.
From start to end. And that was 2019 annual camp.
That was on island?
That was on island. That was the Agriculture Pavilion in Bontown.
So, Okizi, what were the camps like for you?
Well, my first camp was, surprise, surprise, it was a recruit camp when I was first being recruited, and that was in 2017. And with the camps that they have, and for recruits who are going to be cadets, I will not spoil it for you. It is beautiful. They're enjoyable because not only do you have these special activities, like he mentioned, after recruit camp, after you get the uniform, you have things such as bush missions. You have stuff involving the range, which would be shooting. You have stuff involving water, involving the water. So kayaking, maybe even swimming. The overseas camps are a different type of experience, and it's just as beautiful. It is just as beautiful, but it puts you in a much different mindset because you're now overseas. You're now knowing new people who you don't know, and they're from different places with slightly different cultures. And in my case, I was competing with them because this was Barbados, and every so often you have a Caribbean camp where cadets come together in one place to compete. We had bush missions, which involved us going into the bush, like he says, have fun. We're in the bush. It's usually overnight. It's not just a day, or it's not just a couple hours with the sun. You're also practicing your ability to survive in the wilderness. So all the skills that would come with that, you'd have to put them to use. With involving watercraft, it would be, for us, it was jumping off a pier. Not anything dangerous, but it was a 30-foot... we were in a harbor in Barbados where I believe it was where the Coast Guard had their ships. So we went to a specific spot where there wasn't any danger of the ships coming around, and they said, "Here, life jacket. have a splash," because it wasn't that dangerous. But each one of us, one of a time, we took a jump, and it was fun. I'd love to experience it again. Obviously it is a 30-foot drop, so they tell you, please don't look down.
Was it like nerve-wracking?
A little bit. I'm not too good with heights. So the everything involving falling and it's water, but but it's just like, can I turn around? But for some people, it's like, obviously. But everybody jumped. Everybody eventually overcame whatever fear they had, and they jumped down, and they swam to the ladder, and they made it back up. So it was an enjoyable experience with water. And then with bush missions, it involved us walking and walking. And walking. And walking.
And a little bit more walking.
Yeah, a lot more walking. It was a very long trip with I don't recall how many of us were on camp, but it was, I believe, 100 or 200 people in total, not just Cayman, it's in total. Mm-hmm. And a third of us were walking in a column in the bush, either on the bush or on the road. It was fun. It was very fun, albeit exhausting. But at the end of it, we saw our reward: sleep and food. We saw our reward, and we knew that all of it was worth it. That type of thing. And I love overseas camps with all of my heart and soul.
Sorry to cut you off, Okizi, but we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you guys doing?
Good afternoon. We're good.
Yeah, I'm listening to those young people talking. Well, I trained in Barbados, and I guess where they swam, I had to swim too, because I have a bronze medallion for life-saving. And I listened to them, and on our pass-out parade, we had to run 22 miles. And if you couldn't run, the other one had to help you, pulling you underneath your arms. And we started, I think, 6 in the morning or 5:30 around there. And we used salt tablets. Helped us out a lot. And I didn't hear you say anything about the tear gas, guys, but we were locked in at a big place and put canisters, little canisters on us for our training to tear gas. And I had a little instructor that helped me out a little bit. Said when the gas starts, you just make sure your handkerchief or a piece of cloth is wet. You just hold it over your nose and stuff, you know. But that was terrible. But it was a good experience after 6 months in Barbados, you know. And the part with that, we also went on the range, and you know Barbados is mountainous. And we had to go up on the mountain there, and then we had to run every morning, you know. So you guys did a good job. I listened to everything you all said, but I was just wondering if you had an experience with the tear gas. You can let me know, so I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For me, in Barbados, I did not have much experience with tear gas, but there was something that you did mention that I forgot to. When we were running, at points we were running, points we were walking, with the field craft where you had to go miles. So there are points in time where we were walking, points in time where we were jogging.
Do you have like baggage on you?
Yes, you do. Yeah, you have to carry stuff on your back.
Okay.
And some people have to hold water, which they take turns. But once people start to get tired, which is inevitable, it's miles worth of walking, we usually some people will come back, some of the more fitter people among the front, they'll come back, you know, they'll motivate you in a way. They'll be like, come now, don't stop now. Come, so much. We're right around the corner. I swear. Let's go. And the person they were motivating happened to be me, poor 12-year-old me. It was, like I said, it was definitely exhausting, but these people definitely helped me push my way through. And another thing, yes, we did run early in the morning. That's less of exercise, more of PT, morning exercises to just get the blood flowing before we start our day, that type of thing. And for me, that made the camp all the more fun, because I know that modern day now, you're not going to get yourself out of bed to exercise every morning, but these people will definitely make sure to drag you out of bed.
Oh yeah,
right, drag you out of bed, because we all know we were all teenagers. Some of us are still teenagers. You know, wake up, get out of bed. 5 more minutes, mom. 5 more minutes. But with cadets, it's none of that. Out of bed, you run. Simple.
And you don't get out of bed, we bring the bed with you in. You sleep on a cot, you will rise with the cot, and we will put you out in Parade Square in said cot. You will move.
That made it all the more fun.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to have a quick music break.
Our next song will be Independent Woman by Destiny's Child.
We are back and still in studio with Okizi and Devore. So have you guys ever been on any parades?
Yes, many parades. I was on the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Parade. I've been on multiple Queen's Birthday Parades, Heroes Day Parades, Remembrance Day Parades, even the Cadet Corps hosts parades as well. When I originally joined, it was one for the recruits camp. They always must have a parade. And during the annual camp, to close the camp officially, we need to have a closing parade with the whole corps. So, and we recently have dropped the closing parade for annual camps. We haven't had one since I think 2013, if I remember correctly. But we still hold the tradition that we are out in parades. So if you've ever seen for national parades, we're always those in red.
Yeah,
that's always the Cadet Corps.
So what has that been like for the both of you?
You start with that.
Yeah. So with our parades, I've also been on a multitude of parades, but obviously not as many as Mr. Bonilla here. But I've been on Queen's Birthday parades. I've been on Heroes Day parades, Remembrance Day parades, and they're all enjoyable in themselves, especially when you're marching on with because I don't know how to describe the feeling, but there is just a type of feeling where the drums come in and you start marching.
Yeah.
At first, you feel like you're walking, but by the time you get to the parade square, you feel like the beat is carrying you off of your feet.
The rhythm is
like, and we have they have a certain bass drummer who who is legendary in skill. So they won't fail to go out of convention and just take a beat which will do its job, yet will add that extra flaunt to it, like just show off a little bit, and it is beautiful. And the band is also really skilled at their worth, and all the other participants, like the prison service, the police, the pathfinders occasionally, etc., they all know how to participate, and therefore when we all do it together, it's really nice to look at.
It's like therapeutic, especially the sound of the click clocking.
Definitely, yes. So it's like when you see that everyone else is doing a good job, and that your people are doing a good job, you think you're doing a good job. So and especially if you have a special role, like for example, immediately after you would stop, there are people who, to the right of their little contingent, they go and they dress their parade, make sure that everyone's in line with each other, and go back in. It's a small procedure, but you feel special when you're one of those people. You really feel like you're doing something. You're important because the parade can't proceed without you. That type of thing. So the parades are enjoyable, albeit in the sun, but in the correct weather. It is very, very enjoyable.
Before Mr. Bonilla talks about his experience, we have another caller. Hello, caller.
Hello, I am Ikena Lawanya Okizi's brother, and I'd just like to congratulate him on all of his accomplishments, and also to just thank him for everything he's done with me and being my brother. He was actually the one who inspired me to play some instruments, to be interested in music in general, and also to join the cadet camp. So I'd just like to thank him for that.
So sweet.
You're going to make me blush.
He's starstruck.
Stop it.
He's left speechless.
Why, thank you, brother.
Like, you can see that, like, you made that impact on your brother, and you probably made an impact on other people because you sharing your experience and showing, like, what it's done for you. That makes him proud. Like, no, he joined it, and, like, it's like a knock-on effect.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like a domino effect. It's like when you see that people are looking up to you, and although at the time, you're busy at the time you're busy, and you don't have much time to think about. When you really think that you've done so much to the point where other people want to do the things that you do, or want to, like, be like you, it makes you feel special, right? It makes you feel unique.
Especially in the sense, because you're just living your life, like you're making these decisions because you found that they've made an impact in your own life. So for people to look up to you and be like, wow, like I like what he's done with his life, I can use that as an inspiration. That's really amazing.
It is pretty cool, honestly.
So what were parades like for you, Mr. Bonilla?
So parades for me, honestly, with the cadets being known for wearing the red uniform, I have never worn that uniform on my parade.
Really?
Nope,
So
never in a day in my life. Originally, when I started doing parades, I wore the Marine Cadet uniform, which is the white. So thank God, I was wearing a white polyester shirt. So guess what? I got some breeze.
I'm
the only one who doesn't have heat stroke.
Oh, how lucky you are.
Yes, very. So I have been a right-hand marker, like what the people who come up on the sides of parades to dress the actual contingents to make them in line. I have been one of those. I've also been a part of the color party. So those are around the actual flags for each contingent. I've been part of that. I've been in the contingent itself, but always with the Marine Cadet uniform. Thank the Lord. My experiences with parades they're really nice, especially when everyone's coordinated and knows exactly what to do. They're a beautiful sight to see, and even more beautiful to be a part of.
So why did you guys decide to stay in the cadets? Like, you started, but you could have dropped out. Like, why did you stay?
I feel like anything that I've done in my life, if I've started, I need to finish it. I need to see what the end result is. Even when I joined in school, when I went away for school to go to college, during my orientation at Florida Tech, they told us, look to your left, look to your right, look in front of you, and look behind you. Everyone who you just looked at, you will not graduate with them. And they were 100% correct. My original class, when we first got to freshman year orientation, was around 2,000 people. The graduating class was around 182, I think. Yeah, we dropped like flies. And I went to a technical school, so it was either you're a pilot or you're an engineer or you're going for a business major. You're one of those three. Specifically is engineers that usually go first. Pilots go second, because either you ran out of money to afford to do this, or you come down to the end of your freshman year and it's like, all right, I don't think this is for me. And that's how bad it got. Like I even remember even some of my friends in some of them classes, they looked at me and told me, this is not for me. I can't really see myself doing that, because the worst part is I put money into it. When I went away to overseas, and I also went with the government scholarship as well, so I had to see it to the end. So that's the main reason in myself that I stayed with the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps. I joined as a recruit. I joined from the lowest of ranks that you can join. I have nothing, and now I'm a commissioned officer. Now I want to see where else this can go further. We also even have like our closest corps that's near the Cayman Islands is the JCCF, the Jamaican Combined Cadet Force. They just recently, not too long ago, celebrated 75 years of service in Jamaica. I would like to get to that age that I actually can see 75 years of service in Cayman. I want to see that day, because I do not see why there's a reason to actually quit something you put so much effort into just to say, oh, I was a part of that and this is the reason why so and so left. I talk to old cadets that I still see from time to time, and they say, oh, I was a part of that. Why are you saying I was? Why can't it be I am a part of that? I make this contribution. I do these things every week. People aren't really going to say good job, aren't really going to give you these good rhetorics of you did well. Maybe once in a blue moon, or when they actually come and give you the awards, but that's only going to happen so many times. Especially in today's social media market, or on the media itself, we'll carry the bad news more than the good news.
True.
For sure. And people always remember the bad more than the good. But why can't it just be like, all right, I've contributed so much good in society, why can't my name last in society only to mean good things? We have those people in our society, so why can't I be a part of that select group?
Yeah, I really appreciate your perception of life. You know how when you join something, you want to see through it to the end, because plenty of us know, especially in today's society, once something gets tough or gets difficult, we decide to just stop doing it. We don't try to push ourselves to see what can come out of it, to see what kind of a better person we can become afterwards.
Exactly. Even when I was in school, I was doing 3 degrees at once and a pilot's license at the same time. I'm also a pilot. That was all done in 4 years. I graduated on time too. They even pushed my graduation back by 2 years because I took on so much workload that they said, all right, there's no way you're going to graduate in 2019. I graduated in May of 2019. I graduated on time.
Wow. Yeah. I feel like when people say stuff that you can't do it, I feel like that's just giving you the more motivation to push yourself to do it. And I feel like your story can definitely be inspiring to someone, even to me sitting here and like hearing what you have accomplished in those years, or even like your whole lifetime, to see where you are today. And like you said, you started with the lowest rank, so to see where you have come to today is really amazing.
Thank you.
It is. What was becoming a pilot like?
At first, I wouldn't say too scary for me, because I don't really have a fear of heights or a fear of like anything breaking down in a plane or anything like that.
And what kind of pilot did you become?
No, right now I'm a commercial multi-engine pilot with single engine land privileges as well. So right now I can fly commercially for composition higher. So that's a license I currently have. Originally, when you start off, you must start off going for the private pilot license. So it's about 40 hours of flight time, and then the ground school portion where you actually introduce into all these theoretical items. Originally, when I learned to become a pilot, I took my first lesson in January of 2016. So not that too long ago. I didn't really find it too scary, but I just find it was a lot of workload. You're coming from always being on land. You may know something about the sea from the Cayman Islands. Those things, they correspond to flying as well, but not to the extent to say, all right, 1 is now 1. No, 1 is now 3, and when you're learning to fly, it comes down to a point, it's such a work overload. It's like, all right, you're trying to get this license, but there's a lot of work to do involved, especially in book work. There's a lot of concepts that you need to learn and to master before they even allow you to even say, go for your solo. Your solo lesson is roughly when you have roughly 15 hours under your belt. And then that's when they say, all right, are you good enough to fly this plane by yourself without the instructor on board? Is even at my old school, like then those who work in ATC in the tower, they'll tell you, all right, you're going to find that the plane flies a lot better without the instructor on board. Cleared for takeoff, good luck. They specifically said the good luck part, and it was like, wait, what? Hold on 2 seconds, boss. Wait, what? Go, you're holding traffic.
And do like every couple of years, do you have to like renew your license or like anything like that?
So originally, your pilot's license, you don't have to renew the license itself. The license itself is as good as long as you are alive or you have not broken the law. So there's no expiration date on the license. The privileges that come on the license do expire, so you have to keep those renewed depending on what you want to do. So with my license, I just recently did a biannual flight review, so that needs to be done every 2 years, so 2 calendar years, so every 24 calendar months. If I want to fly through clouds, no visibility, in high-level airspace, things like that, then I need an instrument proficiency check. So that's done every year, but you can omit that if you get certain things done throughout that year, just to meet the requirements. But it's just keeping current is the hardest thing you can do, especially with the current pandemic that was in the past 2 years. A lot of pilots in Cayman, especially in the U.S., their currency went out the window. So a lot of us had to, as soon as the border opened, we scrambled to the U.S. trying to get some currency back into the system, trying to get recurrent on our license. Me and all my friends down here that have a license, we all scrambled to the U.S. trying to get that done. It was kind of a mess. Like it got down to the point, even with the instructor I was with a couple months ago, actually last month, I was like, yeah, I haven't flown in 2 years, so this is going to be very, very rusty. Wow. And it was dang well rusty, but I passed everything. But it wasn't the smoothest of flights. I do not recommend to go with me right now. Give me a few more hours, and then you'll be fine with me.
Do you think you'd ever want to be like a proper, like a pilot that flies like planes for Cayman Airways?
Yes, I do. So originally that was my dream, that was my goal. But right now, I'm planning to go away back to the U.S. now to go pursue my master's degree and see where that takes me along in life.
Cool. So what do you guys think cadets have done for you specifically or helped you in any way?
Okay. I'll definitely go with when I first joined, I know for a fact that I was somebody who was allergic to effort. When you asked me to do something, I was as someone who didn't really study that much. Like I got my grades, but I didn't study, at least in primary school anyway. It was such a breeze that I wasn't used to putting the effort into studying for, say, your phonics test or your grammar exam. So when I first came into cadets, that kind of shattered my perception of this is gonna be a nice, smooth ride, because with cadets, especially with camp, which is precisely why I love them so much, sometimes it gets difficult. Some people don't like it when it gets difficult, which, you know what, I understand. Difficult things make you feel like you're this, or it makes you feel like that. If you go into a difficult class, it makes you feel like you're
small.
It makes you feel small. If you're in a gym, you feel like you're chubby. If you go to a concert, you'll feel like you can barely twiddle a piano. That's how most people feel. But when I go in there, I know that I'm not as knowledgeable as other people when it comes to, say, physical, or maybe I'm not as fit as other people. But for me, after a while, I said to myself, okay, how about I get there? I'll just get to where I want to be, and then I can compare myself to these people and see where I am. So after a while, I started at first I could barely run a mile. I could barely run half a mile, honestly. And I barely ran 100 meters. I could barely run that. But with the cadets, after a while, by the time I got to Barbados, I was walking the entire fieldcraft thing I mentioned earlier. I'm pretty sure that was at least 10 miles. It was more than that. Not jogging the entire way, but it was more of a walk run over the course of 2 days. But it was at least 10 miles. I'm quite sure it was at least twice that. I never thought I would be able to do that 2 years before, when I was in my primary school PE uniform, sitting with my hands behind my back in front of one of the uniformed sergeants in front of me. It taught me that if I really put my mind to these things, when I put my mind to it, it really helps me succeed. And if it makes me feel small in any way, then I should get to a place where I don't. I get to a place where you can look back at it and you can say, wow, I came a long way. If I showed you a picture of me back in 2016, you would not think it was me. You wouldn't. And that's what I love about the Corps. It's definitely changed me.
Helped you grow.
Yeah. Like, it definitely changed me. It changed my lifestyle. It changed the way I thought about the world. And it made me stronger, both mind-wise, heart-wise, and bodily-wise.
You should be a motivational speaker.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a high five right now.
With my experiences in the Corps, what it's done for me, I would say it was giving me more confidence in myself. Because originally, before I joined the Corps, I was a loud person when I was talking to my friends. I always used to get in trouble for talking too much or talking too loudly in class. I would say I was a boy in the back of class that never used to shut up. You too. And I had that problem since day one when I was in primary school. Up to even when I joined cadets, I still had that very problem. There's many push-ups I had to spend for that. But the cadets they gave me a place to actually, all right, you want to talk loudly? All right, here, talk loudly. Give some commands. There's some public speaking. So I never liked public speaking, not one bit. I don't like talking in front of people at all. But now I can say I won't say I've mastered it. I would say I'm more proficient at it. I still make some mistakes from time to time, but that's going to happen to the best of us. But I've overcome that fear. I even come to the point now that the Corps has even taught me how to even manage people and manage things and how to do both at the same time. Even as a cadet, when I became the rank of a sergeant, I was in charge of all the stores, so everything, food, weapons, all the kit, the tents, everything that basically that didn't have life, even the vehicles. Mine, so I just learned how to drive and had a license. But even the vehicles, I was in charge of everything like that. I was what's referred to as a quartermaster in the Corps. So people out there who know what a quartermaster is, you're in charge of everything that does not breathe. Anything that does not have life. You are in charge of that. You must take account for that. I was 16 at the time, turning 17. And I was a quartermaster for an entire camp for 2 whole weeks, with people coming on and off camps, losing supplies, even the food that we even had to eat and even the water to bring in as well. I was in charge of that. Now, as a 16-year-old, and thinking about that, of being in charge of all that for 2 whole weeks, how people live, it's a lot. But the Corps is giving you the tools and giving you the training that you can now do this, do it proficiently, and do it to a level such a high standard that people look up to you and say, you know what, I want to be a quartermaster. Even up to this day, I still have kids in the Corps that are begging me, teach me how to be a quartermaster. It's a lot of lifting. It's a lot of stuff to deal with, because we have stores at our headquarters and in Boytown and around different parts of the island. Even in Cayman Brac, we have stores as well that we need to take care of. It's a lot to do, but it's very rewarding in the end. Even the kids are now coming up and they're saying, all right, I want to learn how to do this, even with managing this kind of stuff. So these are also kids as well. Some of them barely know how to manage their own stuff. Now they want to manage stuff that belongs to government. That is a lot to do.
I think you guys are doing a great job, and you should continue doing that. Thank you for joining us on YOUTHFLEX. I'm your host, Deidre, along with my co-host, Jesse. Shout out to our guests, Okizi and Mr. Bonilla. Shout out to Radio Cayman for their work on sounding boards, Mr. Will Sinatra, DJ Lynn, and DJ Silver Fox. Shout out to Conrad for the live YouTube feed.
Also, special shout out to our YOUTHFLEX crew, Jared Miles on YOUTHFLEX Socials and Community Service, Soraya Ramji, our musical director, who is also on our YOUTHFLEX news desk, Mikhail McLaughlin, our promo director, and the 100+ Flex family all over the globe.
Thank you to SIFA, Cayman Insurance Center, UE Open Campus, and Mosquito Solutions for sponsoring the Super Jam, and to you, our listeners, for tuning in every Wednesday from 4 to 5 for YOUTHFLEX on 89.9 FM. Join us again next Wednesday for YOUTHFLEX's Season of Caring. Until next time, this is your host, DJ Edwards, reminding you that Jesus loves you.